Good morning, guys. Automotive Inquiries here. Okay, we're going to do a quick video while I drive to work because I had a couple people reach out to me last night in regards to the Godzilla, a diesel HD truck, and can they do it with a half ton? And I'm going to put down in the description all the links to the current towing guides. But I mean, for the most part, you can probably go back within the last 10 years and find information on your towing, but it's very specific to the actual truck you got. So whether you have 18-inch wheels, 17-inch wheels, 20-inch wheels, so don't take it as a 100% guarantee. And you can try and reach out to your correct dealer, whether you have a Ram or GM or whatever, and ask them if they can give you your towing specs. But then again, they're going to say, we don't know how your vehicle is modified. So I'm going to tell you a quick little story, a tale of two neighbors, all right? A few years ago, neighbors bought matching conventional toy haulers to pull behind because they had side-by-sides and whatnot. They both went out and bought brand new Ford F-150s. One got the 3.5 EcoBoost Max Tow, and the other one got the Coyote with the Max Tow. Both of them loaded up those trailers to almost their max tow of their vehicle, and on the first voyage they went out and had all kinds of problems with the rear ends and had to limp them into the dealer to get them corrected. Got that issue corrected, went back out and had the same issue again. They made it work for that summer, and then shortly after that, one neighbor traded one off for a really nice 3/4 ton Cummins diesel. The other one continued on with the Coyote version for a little bit longer. And then once they decided they like to do that a lot, they now that neighbor has a Cummins diesel, and the other neighbor has sold his whole get up together and is back in a Power Boost F-150. All right, nothing wrong with that. And can a F-150 do the work of an F-250? Well, in some reasoning, yes. So they put out these great specs, and they're like, wow, you could basically pull a fifth wheel with a half ton. And they even market half ton towable fifth wheels. Now, that doesn't mean it's a half ton fifth wheel. It just means that they're marketing as that's a gimmick to draw people in. Now, nuances to that are, can you do it with an F-150? Yeah, you can do a lot of towing with it. We have F-150s at my work, and then we have bigger trucks too. We have gas and diesel HD trucks, and we have semis, all right? I've had people reach out to me and say, well, my Tundra, I saw it pull the space shuttle in one of the commercials. Yeah, you did. We pull 10,000-pound generators with a side-by-side around construction sites to get them to where we need to place them. That doesn't mean that you probably should be doing that full time. All right? People say, well, I got a Nissan Titan and everything like that, the XD, and I pull fifth wheel. And I think that's okay. They're trying to market that. But at the end of the day, should you go to your max of your trailer tow just because it says it can? Well, you got to think about a lot of things. It's not just power, okay? Most half-ton trucks now have more power than first-generation diesels, the first 7.3s, the first, the 6.5s, the first-generation Cumminses. Now, that doesn't mean that they're, that's all you need to pull a fifth wheel, conventional tow, a work trailer, something like that. There's a reason why they offer these trucks. Now, 2,500 from Ram or Chevy or Ford, now that's a good middleweight if you're coming from a half-ton segment before you have to step up to an F-350. Now, you can go to a one-ton truck and still get a gas, but it's a touchy subject when people are like, well, I wouldn't buy a gas heavy duty. I'm a diesel guy. Okay, well, that's fine. But then there's a whole nother segment of guys that are in half-ton trucks going, can I do that? Can I do, all of this towing with my half ton because I don't want to upgrade? Well, yes and no. I mean, in the 70s, my dad had a big block, Chevy pickup 400. Actually, that was the 400 small block on that one. And at the end of the day, they that did just fine, pulling a lot of stuff. And my dad used that truck for years towing stuff. Now, that was back when they had what Chevy was always kind of known for, what was called a heavy half, or GM was known for the heavy half ton. And that half ton did a ton of work. But, you fast forward now, and it's not the power. It wasn't necessarily, the trucks didn't have as much power back then as they do now, but it's not power necessarily, it's the whole package. So I would say you always want to have more than what you need. So if your half ton is rated at 10 and your trailer is 8, 9, well, why would you want to go to the max? Step up to a 3/4 ton truck and lessen the load on that half ton, because at the end of the day, it's stopping power. It's the brake rotors are bigger on these big trucks. The calipers are bigger. The pads are bigger. All those dissipate heat. The transmissions are heavier duty. Those help transfer heat. The axles are heavier duty, so they stay cooler while you're towing. In addition to that, most of these big trucks, they're heavier themselves. So what that does is allow to help navigate those instances where you have excessive trailer sway. A lot of people don't even think about that. You get in a windstorm, and the wind's blowing really hard, and you're going down the highway. You even kind of move or whatever, jerk the wheel, or just out of habit, and that short wheelbase half ton that's super light all of a sudden now gets whip, and that camper trailer puts you and your family, or you and other people on the road, in a bad position. Maybe you can compensate, but not always can we do that. These bigger trucks allow you to hold that weight better on the road. And at the end of the day, wear and tear. Okay, this truck is more than what I need to pull my fifth wheel, and my diesel was way more than what I ever needed to do anything. So I'm not saying you need to go to the Mac Daddy, and you can always add bags to help level that load, but that's not giving you any more. That doesn't strengthen your axle. Okay, that doesn't strengthen your stabilizers, anything like that. It doesn't boost up your transmission. That just levels load. It makes it so your load isn't sag in the back of the truck. So yeah, it might give you a little bit better steering control and whatnot. But at the end of the day, it's not giving you, they're 5,000 pound bags for the set, so that's 2,500 pounds per bag it can handle. That's not giving you necessarily 5,000 more pounds of payload, because your truck may not even been built for that. So again, your truck might get the load moving, and it might be able to slow the load, but over time that could really put a lot of wear and tear on your vehicle. Now, if your half ton is rated for 10%, 15% more than what you're ever going to pull, I think there's no reason to step up to a heavy duty truck, and there's no reason to go to those great measures of changing that out, especially if you own your truck outright. Man, I would try, if you owned a half ton or 3/4 ton or 1 ton or whatever outright, and it was a good truck and you loved it, I would try to mitigate your towing stuff to stay way below your truck limit, because buying a new truck in this day and age, they're expensive. So that's what I would suggest when it comes to that. But all in all, when people are asking me, well, what can I tow? Well, go to your towing guide and take a look at it. I would suggest staying underneath your max tow ratings, and keeping that in mind, because and that, heaven forbid, something was to happen and you were okay, if you wreck into somebody else, they're going to sue you. So you want to be able to say, well, I did everything in my power that I could, it was just the wind and I did this, whatnot. But if you're at your max of everything and stuff, that's where these trucks have their role. We have half tons at work, and I pull generators all day, just below their maximum weight, because our company says you're not going to pull over the weight or even close to it. We want you to be within that range, so that way we can safely say that, hey, we're using the right tool for the right job. And that's really what it's all about. And and that's why when I went back and bought a new fifth wheel, I made sure I bought a smaller one, because I didn't want to have to go back to diesel if I didn't have to, or didn't want to pay for it. I could stay in this class. So at the end of the day, I know this is a huge discussion, because there is such a huge group. There's tons of forums out there, because I love half-ton trucks. I love the drivability, fuel economy, and everything like that. And like I said, if I could get into a trailer that worked for my likes and needs and get back into a half-ton, I would do it. I would definitely do it. And it's not a knock on the heavy-duty class of trucks. It's just that most of the time I'm driving around town and hanging out. I'm not pulling 24/7 anymore. So, it's at the end of the day, for me, that would be a great option. But like I said, there's so many forums and stuff out there with half-ton owners. They're just like, I've put springs and sway bars and all of this stuff on there, and I pull a fifth wheel just fine, and it pulls down the road. Yeah, absolutely. But I think over the long term, that's going to pay a toll on your transmissions, rear ends, just brakes, rotors, and everything like that. There's a whole nother nuance to that. And then, like I said, there's not too many fifth wheels out there that are 10,000 pounds and your half ton's rated at 14, 15. And I'm just really against going to the max, but there are a lot of people that just say, well, they rated me at 14, I'm going to 14. I don't know about that. But that to each their own, you know. So hopefully this will spark a whole bunch of discussion. And guys, please do subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when you got new content. And we'll see you on the next one.